All right, so I did the night of the Hall of Fame game, which has been was it 2 weeks? I think it's been about 2 weeks now. Little over around there. It's been around 2 weeks since I did the NFC teams, and I want to do that because obviously the NFC is way less stacked. There is more potential bad teams than teams that can make the Super Bowl in the NFC, and either I deleted it because you can only I'm on the free version of StreamYard, so you can only have a limited amount of videos before you have to start deleting stuff. So I either deleted the video or I never made the AFC video. So because I could not find the AFC video, I looked around everywhere on my laptop here, could not find it. I'm gonna be making one. I don't remember if I made one. I've had so much going on in the past month and so many videos that I've created. Some stuff I still haven't even put up, and some stuff I might not even put up. That I can't believe I blanked this out. This is supposed to be recorded the same day as the NFC one, and it should have been put up a week ago. But here we are, heading into week 3 of the preseason. Actually, tonight. I'm recording this on Monday, so we actually have the Ravens and the Commanders playing tonight. But I'm going to put this up on like Tuesday or Wednesday. So you're going to see this right before we start week 3 of the preseason. The day I'm doing this, I'm putting this up before week 2 of the preseason ends. So, I mean, it's explanatory. It's really simple. What we're going to be doing here is only looking at the AFC teams. You can go find my NFC video, which again has been out for like 2 weeks, something like that. You can go find that one. I don't have less bad teams. I just put the worst AFC teams on here because there's not going to be that many teams that I can see being super, super, super bad. We don't have a Cardinals on the AFC side this year, which is weird because usually like the Texans or the Jets or the Browns a couple years ago were like, hey, like they're going to be that level bad. Browns are okay. Texans, I think, are okay. Okay, we're gonna put them here. Okay, we're gonna put them here, but they're not so bad where it's like I can't put them in a tier with other teams here. They can go in worse tier, but they're gonna be fine. So again, there's no Cardinals on the AFC side, in my opinion. We'll see. I was streaming on what was that, Saturday? Saw this Cardinals guy, went and kind of did a mini raid for him, and he had them winning 6 games. I said, I can see it. I respect him. I said, I only have them winning 3. He says he sees that and he respects that. So maybe the Cardinals do win 6 games and maybe the Texans win less, or maybe the Titans or Steelers, which I don't think so. I think, well, maybe the Colts. Maybe the Colts. Shout out to Rising Rhino, by the way. Thank you for the raid on Saturday, too. But, really, like the AFC South, well, I mean, you're in a division. Like, we'll put them at top of worst. We'll put the Titans at the top of the worst because I think they could go 8-9 just because, again, you have 2 teams here where there's a possibility where you sweep them. Maybe you go 1-1 against the Jags, who are clearly, if you're a fan of the Colts, of the Texans, of the Titans, maybe you don't see the Jags as high. I get it. He's a rival team. From the outside looking in, even though they're my second favorite team, they're number 2. But from the outside looking in, I don't think anyone really has a shot at winning that division besides the Jags. Maybe the Texans, or not, I'm sorry, maybe the Titans have probably the second best odds, but Texans are in a rebuild. Colts are in a rebuild. They got a rookie QB. I mean, he's starting week 1, so we'll see how well he does. Can he survive a whole season? I don't know. I'm rooting for Anthony Richardson personally, but there's just I just don't know that I can really say, hey, this team can contend with the Jags in the South. I don't think they can. So, Raiders, I mean, we just got to slide them in here. They're easily, the problem is I do all this trash talking and talk about how, oh, look at the Chargers go, man. Look at how good the Chargers are going to be this year. And then they fall flat on their face. So I'm going to say right now, the Raiders are easily the worst team. By mid-season, Raiders might only be like 2 games behind the Chargers because the Chargers just, I don't know why. I've hyped them up 2 years in a row. The past 2, you can go find videos of me doing rankings, and I hyped up the Chargers so much past 2 years. On paper, they're a good team. For some reason, they don't live up to their potential. And it's annoying, and I'm sure those 5 Chargers fans get annoyed with it too. But we'll put them. They'll go 8-9, 9-8. They'll go one of those two. Probably miss the playoffs again because they didn't really belong in the playoffs last. This team that blew them out. So there has to be a 7th seed. I know the Chargers did have the 5th seed last year. Because again they played the Jags, so it's 5-4. But if the Broncos, I think the Broncos, we're just going to go ahead and finish off. Yeah, that's it. We're going to go ahead and just do that, finish off the AFC West. Do I need to talk about the Chiefs? I guess I don't really, I feel like everyone knows the Chiefs are, their Super Bowl window is open, and so they're always going to make the playoffs because, 1, they're in a weak division, and 2, somehow they're able to get past everyone in the AFC by cheating. I don't know. I don't know how they make it to the Super Bowl so many years. They're somehow cheating. They're doing steroids in the locker room or something. Patrick Mahomes is, his brother's a criminal, so I'm kidding. Don't. I'm so glad I'm a small YouTuber. But for real though, the Chiefs should make the playoffs because they should win their division, so that's an automatic top 4 spot. And every year for the past, 5-6 years, they've been Super Bowl contenders. So, maybe, yeah, I guess it's been about 5 years, right? Was that the first time it was? What was it? 2018, right? 2019, 2018, whatever. It's been about 5 years since their first Super Bowl win, and that's when the window really opened. So, yeah. As for Broncos, I think they could finish second. I think there's potential. Now, I haven't seen too much footage of the Broncos in preseason. Obviously, I don't take a lot of stock into that because Jordan Love is looking good, but it's preseason. So, even for my Packers, I'm just sitting here everyone's going to hype up the Packers. I saw one post that said the Packers are the number 1 offense and number 1 defense in preseason through 2 weeks. Mind you, not even the full 3 weeks of preseason. Through 2 weeks, they have the number 1 offense and defense, but they just don't I don't know. Broncos have looked okay. I don't want to put a lot of stock into them. I think that they can make the playoffs. Obviously, again, when you're in the AFC, you have a lot of teams you're going to be contending with, and if you can't beat the Chiefs and win the division, well, you're stuck with the 5th, 6th, or 7th seed. And I think they can maybe get the 6th or 7th seed. I'm not going to put them at the 5th seed. I don't think so. I think that'll be for the Bills, the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Bengals. Maybe the Jets get the 5th seed. We'll see. But I just think that there's a possibility they could sneak in. They're not. I don't think they're going to make it past the divisional round. But they might, depending on their matchup, they might be able to beat a team in the wild card. But again, I don't take too much stock into preseason. Obviously, it's their first look, but not a lot of starters get more than 1 quarter. So we'll see. I'm kind of high on them. I know there's no really, can't really go further when you're at rock bottom. You can only go up. So you're either sitting at rock bottom again, and you just flattened out, and that line just flattened out for the whole season, and there you go, you suck again. Or you go up a bit and you somehow make the 6th or 7th seed, and yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, you went over the Chargers, went over the Raiders. Raiders are just a bad team. So we'll go ahead and do AFC North. We'll start with the Bengals. Are easy. We'll start with them. I think that it's still right now, before the season starts, before all these, Ravens fans get hyped up, about winning, what are they, 25-0 in preseason or whatever they are. Before that all happens, I think it's still the Bengals division to lose. I think they're still the best team in the AFC North. It's not far off. It's not miles and miles and miles ahead of the Ravens, but they're better. They, in the past, have proven they stayed healthier than the Ravens. So if the Ravens can stay healthy for a season, I might have them be my number 1 team in the AFC North. But I think how it is right now, the Bengals window is still open for the Super Bowl. Ravens have showed that they can make the playoffs. You know, a healthy Lamar Jackson can get them there. Can they make it deep in the playoffs and make a Super Bowl push? I don't know. So we'll see with them. I think, you know, this is the Ravens' year to prove, like, hey, if Lamar Jackson can stay healthy into the playoffs, what can you do against this stacked AFC field? So we'll see. We'll see. Then we're going to go ahead and do this. I am teetering between 9-8 and playoff team. We'll just put them in playoff team. We'll do that, and we'll go like we'll do that. So now I know, you know, I could do this. Oops. I could do this, and I think I will, because I know some people are going to get mad if I put the Bills to Super Bowl bound, because they've had years where they've just fumbled the bag and absolutely do not. So I will put them down. I will put them in playoff team. There's not much to really say about them either. They're a really good team, but when push comes to shove and the playoffs start, they tend to fall apart sometimes. So Miami here. God. Okay. There's a lot of hype for Tua and the Miami offense. If he can stay healthy, they are contending for the AFC East title. If he is out at least a month to 2 months, probably going to lose a lot of games, which means they're not going to win the AFC East, and they might struggle to make to the playoffs in a heavy playoff field with the AFC. You have the Jets, who are on the rise. They should make the playoffs, not Super Bowl. They should make the playoffs. They should. They have an offense. They have a defense. You should make the playoffs if you're the Jets. If you don't, it's a terrible year. You might want to just blow everything up, fire Rodgers out of there, you know, send him into retirement, and go ahead and get rid of Garrett Wilson, you know, send him to the Packers. Get rid of Sauce Gardner, send him to the Packers, you know. Go ahead and just blow everything up if you're the Jets if you don't make the playoffs this year. But for real, though, like, Jets have to make the playoffs. Basically, 3 of the 4 teams in the AFC East should make the playoffs. Dolphins should, if Tua, you know, helps them out to like a 6-0 start or whatever, and they get like 10 wins or 9 wins, and they're sneaking as 6 or 7 seed. There you go. I got it correct. Right. They're a playoff team, but Tua's injured again. So once again, they're just going to fall short probably in the wild card. If Tua stays healthy, I don't know why you can't argue this. I don't know why you can't argue a Super Bowl potential run. I really don't know why you can't argue it. It's you know, he has shown that they can be really good. They can hang with the best of them. Now they did not play the Chiefs last year, I believe. Maybe they did. I just don't remember. I don't think they did. Maybe Tua was hurt that game. Maybe that's why I don't really remember, because Tua was hurt that game. But they played the Bengals. Tua obviously got hurt, but he had a pretty decent time before the injury there. So I think a healthy Tua, healthy Dolphin squad, yeah. You get Jalen Ramsey, who might not come back until like December now. I think their last report was like December, so he's going to be out for like most of the year. So, you know, in time for a playoff push, if your team is even considered that. But, you know, for now, they might make the 6 or 7 seed. I'm not convinced. I am not convinced. Tua might take 1 or 2 more hits, and he might be done with football. He might, like, the way things are, he took, what, was it 3? He had, I think it was 3 concussions last year. He takes 1 or 2 more, and one of them is really severe. That's end of his career. So I just, as a full potential team, they can go and win the Super Bowl with ease. I think it's possible. I think they have the weapons, they have the defense, and that offense is a high quality offense. But when it's depending on the QB who is injury prone, I don't trust them. I don't. So, and again, you know, I talked about the Jets already, but they should at least make the wild card. They should at least make the 6th or 7th seed, maybe even the 5th seed. I have the Bills winning the division. It's still the Bills' division to lose. A healthy Miami team, maybe it's Miami's team to lose, but I don't have the Jets winning that division at all. There's 2 teams better than them in that division. And, you know, I could even, like, I could almost do that. I'm going to leave. We'll go ahead and we'll do this. We'll go ahead and put the Patriots at the top of the worst AFC teams here. Maybe they go 7-10. They might go 8-9. But I obviously the game got cut short because of an injury. So, we know the guy's good. So thank God he's good. But, they have some dogs on that New England team. And, getting to see him again playing the Packers in week 2. Again, I don't put a lot of stock into it. But I think that there's potential where, just like the Broncos, which I haven't, seen too much Broncos footage either, but I think there's potential maybe they could try to sneak into like as a 9-8 team, sneak into the playoffs as the 7th seed. Now, can they go farther than that? Probably not. But I think there's potential where the AFC East could have 3 teams, just like the NFC East last year. 3 teams make the playoffs. And then you have the 4th team sitting right there who just lost out on making the playoffs, but had a really good record. I think, what was the Commanders? I think they were 7-10 or 8-9, and just lost because of tiebreakers. So I think there's a possibility that the AFC East could be that. We'll see. But, you never count Bill Belichick out. Obviously, in the past 2 years, they haven't looked good. They've been kind of bad. But I think just, there's a possibility that you could see 3 AFC East teams in the playoffs, which, I mean, are they going to be able to beat the Chiefs? I don't know. The Bills have had their time, and they have not been able to do it. Can the Dolphins? Maybe fully healthy. Can the Jets? If Aaron Rodgers is God, if Garrett Wilson is Randy Moss in his 2nd year, if that defense plays lights out and doesn't allow more than 10 points, then there's a possibility. But there's potential, and there's what really happens. And 3 AFC teams might just get beat. Well, obviously not all 3 of them will lose to the Chiefs, because obviously the Chiefs will probably have a bye. It's between them and the Bengals for a bye, and it's probably just going to be the Chiefs again. Chiefs are probably going to have home field advantage once again to get to the playoffs. So, you got to go to Arrowhead. And the Bills have proved they can't do it. So, we'll see. Maybe they can this year. Maybe I'm putting it into the universe right now. The Bills beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. That's, reverse psychology, but that they can't, because we know they can't. They've proven that they can't do it. But maybe it's out in the universe of, hey, they're going to do it this year and get to the AFC Championship game, and then they're going to lose to the Bengals. But as a whole, let me know your thoughts on the Super Bowl bound team, which is essentially what it's been for the past couple years. 2 years, 3 years between the Bengals and the Chiefs. I mean, really the only shocker for playoff teams here are probably the Broncos, and obviously the Jets now, because over the past couple years it's been the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Bills. The Ravens have been fighting for a spot. It's been whoever comes out of the AFC South. Whoever does, and who's the one, and then that's all forward. And I think usually it's been the Titans more recently, and then obviously the Jags just won it last year. But yeah, the top 3 have been basically the same, and then you've rotated the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Chargers, the Steelers, Browns that one time a couple years ago. So you have a bunch of teams that are still kind of hanging around that circle of playoffs. But again, Broncos popping up again for the first time in almost a decade. Was this the last time they made the playoffs? I don't even remember. Was it like 2017? I think something like that. I can't even remember. It's been a while. I know it's been a while since they made the playoffs. It's been, I want to say, at least 5 years. If there's a Broncos fan out there that wants to let me know. Other than that, again, no real shockers, just the Broncos stand up. But if Sean Payton's good, they're going to be up there for next couple of years. But again, it's basically just been like the same teams essentially for the past, I guess I would say like 4 years. So, nothing too crazy. I think a lot of people would at least have the first 3 here, like these 2, and then the Bills up there. I think a lot of people that, I would assume everyone, unless you're like absolutely hate the Bills or you hate the Bengals. You can hate the Chiefs, but they're still going to make the playoffs no matter what. But again, it's been the same. Whereas the NFC, there's going to be a lot of switcheroos and a lot of switch ups, which is the same thing, in the future versus, past couple years. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Let me know your Super Bowl bound AFC teams. Do not be biased and put, the Texans, Super Bowl bound. Maybe they are. We don't know. Maybe they're secretly building like the best team ever down in Texas, or down in Houston, I should say, to be more specific, because there is another Texas team. But don't be biased and say like, oh, the Chiefs aren't going to win a single game this year, because we know they're making the playoffs. It's almost guaranteed. Like, it's 90% guaranteed that they're going to make the playoffs. So, unless literally what has to happen is they have to go 0-6 against their division, and they have to play bad against the rest of their 9 division opponents. So, I think it's more likely that they go 0-6 than it is to lose to like teams outside the West. But like, Broncos have not beat the Chiefs in years, and Chargers struggle to beat them. Raiders suck. So, but for now, like the video, share the video around, don't subscribe, and I'm out of here. Peace.